Hey, you don't want to miss out on this video series because we're going to talk about the 10 commandments of the single plane swing.
So there's no better feeling knowing that when you wake up in the morning to go play golf, so that you're going to play well. There's no better feeling of hitting good golf shots down the fairway. Years ago, I was frustrated because I lost that. I was confused, I was frustrated, and then I met Mo Norman and learned the single plane swing. And so now I wake up every day and I know I'm going to hit it well, I know I'm going to play well, I know I'm going to have fun. So my mission today is to help as many people as possible wake up every day feeling good that they're going to go out there and play great because of the single plane swing.
Hey, welcome to part 2 of the 10 commandments of the single plane swing. And the 4th commandment is thou must not mix swing methods. And I get this a lot when I talk to people about the single plane swing. They say things like, well, I tried this or I tried that. And we talked about in the first video how this is a swing model and it's a sum of its parts, and everything works together in a certain way to swing the club in the most efficient way to get to impact. When people try to mix methods, they get a lot of weird stuff going on. People say, well, I'm mixing stack and tilt with this method, or they're mixing other methods with this. And the problem with that is that everything that we teach in this swing model has a relationship to getting to impact in the most efficient way. So again, I can kind of go through this, and I got a driver out today. It's a little easier to demonstrate this with a driver, but when I set up, you'll notice that the way the club is designed, it naturally aims at the lead side of the body. That's why we place the club beneath the nose, and there's some space between the club head and the ball. So notice that the natural position of the club to the body places the club slightly behind the ball. Now that relates to how it lines up with the arm. See how it lines up with the arm? Now if I put it here, it doesn't line up with the arm. It lines up with the arm there. And notice with that alignment, then this trail arm lines up, and now I'm on the single plane. Now because the club is on the lead side of the body, it moves naturally to the inside. See that? So that relationship allows the club to move naturally to the inside, get to the top, and then comes down. And notice all this is related to my tilt. So in essence, you could say that my tilt in address position and the way this established this relationship allows the club to make a perfect path and a natural path to the inside. Notice how everything that I'm talking about in that single plane setup, and it relates to how the backswing works. So you can't mix these methods. You can't say, well, I'm going to start in a conventional address and then try to swing it on a single plane. It just doesn't work because you'll have to build in compensations, and that's the word that I always use for anybody who is fighting the club trying to get to impact. The club should naturally move to impact. If I stood you on the side of the ball here and I took the club back and I had you, if this was a 3-foot hammer, and I just had you hammer this nail, you would naturally hammer it. If I did the same thing here, you would naturally hammer it. So why are we trying to mix this with hammering the golf ball? We need to set the hammer down, this 3-foot hammer, create this nice alignment, put the body in a proper position, and easily hammer the ball. It's not hard to do that if you're in the proper position. So I don't want you mixing methods. The 5th commandment is, this is all about getting to impact, what I call perfect impact, but you must have great positions to do that. So in other words, everybody says, well, all that matters is getting to impact. Impact is the most important moment. That's where you strike the ball. But here's my question for you. How consistent can you be if you're rotating too much or you're moving the body too much? So what happens is, I can say all day long to you, yeah, all that matters is impact. Work on getting to impact. Great. But when I say this question, how do you produce speed? And how do you get there consistently? You've got to pay attention to what's going on throughout the position of the swing. So while impact is the most important moment, if you want to improve and get really, really good, you've got to pay attention to the positions of the body that get you there. In other words, this position, it's easier to get to impact with this driver from this position than it is from this position. It's easier to get there, if I put the club behind the ball, it's easier to get there from here than it is right there. So in the golf swing, it's happening in a split second. I mean, this golf swing, it's less than a second that you swing the golf club. You can't think about this stuff while you're hitting a golf ball. You've got to position the body, orient yourself in a way, and Mo used to use that term a lot, orientation. you got to orient yourself in the way, which means lead arm orientation, trail arm orientation, body position. Look at my arms, this arm's above this arm. All these things matter because it lets me get right here at the start and then hit that golf ball perfectly because of my orientation of my body. I'm making an efficient way to produce speed and get to impact with positions. Yes, impact's important. Positions are very important to getting to that moment of impact. Now the next commandment is not only is perfect impact that important, but positions are primary to results. Now I know this is going to freak some of you out, that positions are primary to results. That's especially when you're learning this swing. So many of you, here's what happens. Many of you will come out and you'll say, well, I'm taking the single plane swing to the course. And I'm like, do you have it down? Do you have this swing down? Are you good at it? Are you efficient at it? Have you practiced it enough? And so some people say, well, I'm trying it. Well, the question is, I would go through the process of getting feedback. Are you measuring it? Are you making sure the address and grip is good and the positions are good? And if all that stuff's great, yeah, go learn to play with that swing on the course. But in many times, people have a hard time getting results because they're not paying attention to what we talked about in the first 3 commandments of getting the positions correct in the proper order. So what's so important is that if you nail down these positions and you start getting them right, you'll start getting results. Results come after you get the positions correct. That's all I want to make a point here, is that if you want great results, start hitting the positions. He asked Mo Norman, and he says it, and we can even put the clip on here. I asked Mo one day, what's the most important part of learning a great golf swing or learning your golf swing? He goes, hit your positions, hit your positions. And what he meant by that was, look, positions make up the golf swing. If you hit your positions, you get to impact more efficiently. So that's what the 6th commandment is that positions are primary, results are secondary. So again, one of the things that I think is pretty fun when I'm practicing is I'm more concerned about feeling really good at address position. So when I get to my address and grip, if I feel good here, it naturally moves my body into the positions I want. So feeling good at address relates to a great backswing and a great downswing. If I don't feel good at address, it's hard to swing well. So again, here I am in my nice single plane address. I feel very left-sided with the club. I feel tilted, it feels great, and it makes it so easy to hit the ball where I want it. Positions may not feel good at first. That's the other side to it, is that when I put you in these new positions, if I was coaching you and I put you in this, let's say you were here and I put you here, you go, wow, it feels really weird. Yeah, at first everything's going to feel different, but once you learn it, you start learning the natural motion of the club. So I hope that helps. That's the other 3 commandments. We got 4 more to go. I'll see you in the next video.